The brands that are going to win in the future are investing in Google's AI mode now. So AI mode is a full generative AI experience that Google released in beta last year, and then they released the full version of it this year. So you can experience it if you go to Google and you just click on this AI mode prominent button or this tab up top. And basically, Google started messing around with this last year, playing around with it, and our experts predicted, okay, this is going to become Google's main mode, the main search experience in a couple of years. And it looks like we're probably going to be right about that. Recently, there was a Google AI developer that was talking in a chat, and as you can see here, he said, this is going to be the default mode soon. A vague reference, yes, but we all know this is coming. Google has to compete with the likes of ChatGPT and Grok and other AI platforms. And that's why Google wants to move to this experience. So for the most part, it's a pretty good experience. Some people don't like it as well. Some people do. Google's still ironing out the kinks. It is definitely not perfect. But the point here is this is what your audience will experience when it comes to Google soon. And so your brand has to stay relevant, and you need to do some generative engine optimization, GEO, to prepare your website. So GEO is a lot like SEO. You'll start to hear more and more and more about it. But basically, the whole point of GEO is to prepare your website's content so that it appears in AI content. And an example of that would be ChatGPT, as I said before, Google's AI mode, Gemini, Grok, Meta AI, things like that. So what are some things you can do to show up to ensure your content and your brand are being found in these platforms? Well, some of the things you can do, first of all, is write really clear, well-written content that has a conversational tone that speaks to your audience. Obviously, content that talks about the things that your audience would be looking for. So just think about, okay, a prospect, someone who would be interested in doing business with me, what would they search for? What would this person search for? Products, service lines, whatever your offerings, what type of queries are they going to have? And then ensure your content answers those questions. So when you're writing content on your site, make sure that you are putting H1s, H2s, H3s, those headings in your content that ask a question or the sentiment of a question that your audience would have, and then answer those questions in the paragraph text after it. You have to have really well written content. Ironically, AI written content doesn't seem to do as well. A human should write it. Of course, you can use AI to brainstorm or refine something. But that's one of the keys. You have to have this great written content, conversational, easy to read, speaking in a manner that would speak to your audience, of course. Another important thing to do is ensure you do not have a messy, slow-loading, poorly coded website. And yeah, this gets a little more technical, of course, but a lot of websites out there have JavaScript, for instance. This is code that makes it actually pretty hard for a generative AI platform like Google AI mode to find your content. We're seeing ChatGPT and other platforms really like simple HTML content. And when there's a lot of messy JavaScript on your website, it's difficult. When you do a traditional Google search right now, the content is indexed. And so Google is not going out and grabbing that content in real time. But when you do an AI search, it does go out and find that content in real time for the most part. And so that's why having really clean, modern, well-coded website is incredibly important. So we always emphasize with our clients, let's have that website load very quickly. Let's have it satisfy Google's core web vital standards and things like that. So you got to have a well put together website. If you have a website that was developed 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you're probably falling behind and you need to develop it with some new standards. And yes, we can help with these things. We're a digital marketing agency. We do this stuff all the time. Don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, some other things that you can do when it comes to appearing on generative AI platforms and Google AI mode is to ensure you have well-written semantic search code, schema markup on your website. This is really important. You can go to schema.org and they have examples of all the type of search code that you might need. This is kind of like a billboard for Google's bots in search. It summarizes your page. It tells search engines and AI platforms what your page is all about. And places like Google really like this because it makes the job easier for their search bots and their AI bots. So it's another thing you can do that can really be helpful. So those are 3 quick tips for you. I hope those are helpful. If you need a hand, reach out to us here at Blue Compass Digital Marketing Agency. We do this stuff all the time. We give really good audits. So if you'd like an audit of your website, we can audit what's working, what's not, and how well is your site going to show up in Google's AI mode. And then we give you the steps to correct it or fix things or improve things. You can do it, your team can, or we can do it. We're happy to work with you. Thanks. We'll talk to you next time.